Here we are, finally coming out of a pandemic that shut down the entire world. It's time to get back to our normal lives. And that includes our economic lives, getting back to work, doing our thing. And we knew this was going to be hard enough. But now we're suddenly faced with record inflation, and they're saying something about this could actually get worse. I don't know about you, but me personally, I'm real frustrated. I mean, you go through the last 2 years and you can finally say to yourself, I made it. This is good. And then boom, we're getting hit with another financial crunch, and we had nothing to do with this. And I mean, the last 2 years were hard enough. And I was reading an article that said with the lifting of the foreclosure moratorium, which put a hold on everything pre-pandemic and as well as during the pandemic, with lifting that up, those foreclosure cases are starting to be filed. And it's anticipated that the numbers over the next several months are going to drastically increase. Now, that was just dealing with the pandemic. But now you're going to add inflation and a possible recession into the mix. And there's a chance we're going to be facing another foreclosure explosion. Now, I'm not saying this in order to scare anybody. Not at all. It's just a fact that we have to face. But why I'm here is because I want to make sure what happened last time doesn't happen again. Let me explain. You see, sometimes when we're hit with a devastating situation, some silver lining is in there somewhere, and you just have to wait till it shows itself. And a perfect example is the last financial crisis that we experienced. And what I'm obviously talking about is the 2008 housing market crash. I mean, the housing bubble burst. There were so many foreclosure filings, and it just skyrocketed that it actually shut down the whole court system. And I'm not talking about a crawl. I'm talking shut down. It was incredible. The overload was so bad that there were just not enough judges in order to hear all the cases in a timely manner. But I tell you, what was really cool about the whole thing is that while everything slowed down, foreclosures were actually starting to be looked at a little differently. You had attorneys that were no longer looking at foreclosure cases as this moral loser, something they wouldn't even touch. And they were finally seeing what foreclosures actually were. And that is a contract dispute. That's what a foreclosure litigation is. It's a contract dispute between the bank and the borrower. And just like any other dispute, there are defenses and there are arguments that can be brought up, just like any other action. Now, as the word spread on this situation and cases were being won and attorneys were starting to see what actually could be argued, more and more challenges to foreclosure cases were happening. And what was, yes, I'm getting excited because what happened was the reality and the truth was setting in. And the truth was that the banks really didn't have good legal cases. And now the foreclosure litigations were being lost by the banks. This was an incredible situation. Now, I want to stop, and I'm telling you, I am not pro-homeowner or pro-bank. I'm pro-truth, and I just like it when the right thing happens. And that's why I'm sharing this with you. And what was happening is the right thing was not happening. And on top of this revelation that there were some not so good cases with the foreclosures, the government then stepped in. And the government was trying to help homeowners stay in their homes. So they enacted various laws that basically said okay, bank, if you want to foreclose, first you have to try to help the homeowner stay in their home. You have to follow these steps. If you follow these steps, we will help you. But if you do not follow these steps first and try to help the homeowner stay in their home before you file litigation, we're not going to listen to your case. This, I'm telling you, was a turning point for many, many homeowners because now they actually had a fighting chance to stay in their homes. All right, so I know that's almost 15 years ago. Why am I talking to you about that now? Well, as I said, there is a chance we are going to be going into another foreclosure explosion, just like we saw before. But this time around, I don't want anyone, no homeowners out there, to feel like they're a failure and they have no chance of staying in their home. I'm here to tell you right now, I know you did not buy your home just so someday something that you had no responsibility for caused you to have to go into default and you lost your home. I also know that you didn't buy your house all those years ago just so that someday you can enter into a foreclosure case and possibly win a free house. Now, come on. I say that. I'm sure you all heard that defense for not being able to challenge a foreclosure. Well, my job for all my clients is to make sure that every judge, every bank, and every attorney knows that these are not things that my clients thought of when they first bought their homes. They wanted just to have a good home. Most homeowners are just hardworking individuals who just got hit by life. You know, kind of like the last 2 years. And although the banks may, at first, not want to negotiate with you, they'll reject talking to you, anything like that. My strategy has always been to push back with the legal system. I see where the problems are with their cases. I know what they've done wrong and I know what they've done right. And I use that to push back hard in that foreclosure litigation until it comes to a point that they feel, we might actually lose this case. And once that happens, suddenly their position changes and they say, you know what, we'll help your client out. And it's pretty good because it's benefited my clients very well. And I'm glad to say that most of them do stay in their homes. I offer these words to you because I want you to have some encouragement. I want you to not feel embarrassed or judged just because you might find that a curveball got thrown at you. Listen, just because you might morally feel defeated, that does not mean that you should just roll over and let the foreclosure beat you. Although you feel morally obligated and morally wrong, chances are you're legally right. I want you to think about that before you decide to walk away from what I'm pretty sure is a winnable fight. So this is just some more advice from me, Holly Meyer, your local mother-in-law. And I can be found anytime at maggiomeyer.com.